Heists were a huge part of Grand Theft Auto 5. From robbing the Evangelical jewelry store, Trevor's failed Merryweather job, the trio robbing the bank up in Paleto Bay, all the way to the biggest score they've all could have ever dreamed of, the Union Depository. Rockstar went all in with making sure players felt every single moment of these jobs, from casing out the specific location, route for getaway, crew members, their set skill level, and subsequent take. We had direct control over every single thing without the game going so in depth that it became overwhelming or too much to handle. We were even given two ways to approach the job, giving us different ways to see how everything plays out. While not too crazy in variation, it did give enough of a replay value to see how drastic the job would have went if, say, you chose the loud option versus the more discreet and managed approach. Rockstar expanded this a little bit with Red Dead Redemption 2, or at least brought the ability to pick what approach you were favoring, and while it's yet to be seen whether if this is going to be returning in the next Grand Theft Auto game, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the heist missions of Grand Theft Auto 5. I get it was Rockstar's first attempt at tying these massive takings to the main storyline, and they decided to incorporate elements into it that were never done before. Hindsight is of course 2020, and there's always going to be a desire for things to be done a particular way, or maybe some additional options with some supplemental quality of life changes, or even some added depth here and there that would potentially even alter the main story itself. This in turn would grant players access to different cutscenes, in-game dialogue referring to different events based off of which of the two, or maybe even 3 or 4 approaches that the players may have decided. Ultimately, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a linear experience. I think we all get the same bottom line story with some alternative dialogue here and there, or in some cases where some missions can be triggered by 2 or even all 3 characters based off of which one you're controlling, we'll then get some more context to a certain argument or see different things. Take the introduction to By the Book, for example. If you get the phone call from Steve Haynes as Michael and switch over to Trevor immediately, you see Trevor taking a shit behind a dumpster, with him then insulting Michael as they enter the building.
Sweet Jesus. Oh.
The hell are you doing?
Oh, nothing.
Are you taking a dump?
Why do you care, huh?
The fuck is wrong with you?
I got abandonment issues. I see a shrink once a week.
You know, fuck you.
Yeah, well, nothing like meeting a bunch of creeps from the government in a quiet building for someone to grow balls.
Blatant as Trevor driving to the location, however, Michael's outside smoking, already waiting for him, and the two of them have a completely different argument.
Mikey? You gotta quit that shit, man.
Yeah, I know.
I take speed mostly, and look at me. Boom! Best shape of my life. Yeah, I could still take you, sugar tits.
That's because you're fucking deranged, not because you're in good shape.
Hey, why don't you stick to doing fucking crunches and feeling bad about yourself, all right, pork chop?
Hey, fuck you.
You know, I'm beginning to think that's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah. Jesus. Just said the same fucking thing to my wife.
I would love to see this expanded with the heist, giving us varied cutscenes, dialogue, and overall story outcomes would add more depth to the heist, but also more replayability for the overall story. Obviously, that's a huge amount of wishful thinking, since what I'm basically talking about here is Rockstar creating an emphasis on the story like they never had before, almost to the same degree as RPGs, since what I'm talking about ultimately involves multiple different endings and various story outcomes based off even the smallest decisions in these heists. I'm admitting that's asking way too much. That'd be great in a perfect world, but truth be told, as good as Rockstar has gotten over the years and over the history and evolution of the Grand Theft Auto series, people still show up for the gameplay, dumping that much resources into the single player story, especially given the monumental success of GTA Online. Rockstar has learned how much they can make with less effort on the single player and much more effort on the multiplayer component. Potentially that much resources on the story would also deviate from the gameplay, which I don't think too many people would be happy with, so that makes sense. But I digress. Ultimately, the heists, as good as they are, have no real variation beyond dialogue changes or possible changes to the take, with some heists giving more time and opportunity like we see with the Evangelical heist, based off both honestly the hacker and even the approach itself, with the quiet seeming to not really affect how much you can take if you're quick enough.
Okay, this alarm is gonna go at some point.
You gotta be kidding me! Why did I employ a hacker who can't run antivirus software?
Shit, okay, the alarm hasn't gone off yet.
We ain't leaving here till we hit the target, come on!
I think you've got maybe 30 seconds left.
Or even us possibly losing some money from, say, the Evangelical heist as well, due to a shitty gunman or a driver, would cause you to lose a courier on your escape, based off of both their incompetence and your willingness to cut corners for your own personal greed. With the Paleto Bay bank robbery, based off of how many times and where you get hit causes you to lose some money, I mean, I have no real issue with the heists themselves, I just wish we seen some more concrete differences between the options we choose that went beyond just the setup missions and a few choice words in the middle of the mission itself. This is of course assuming that heists even return in the next next Grand Theft Auto game. Who knows if they're going to be a major component to the gameplay and we can just do this out in the open world, similar to the way that we can basically just rob liquor stores now, or this could be something that they completely drop in the next game. If they were to expand on it, which I hope that they really do, I would just love to really see this variation go beyond just these small few changes.